Hey everyone, thank you for joining. Today is Thursday. I've been thinking it's Friday. Thanks for being here after a long day. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I'm pretty excited. Why? This thing just beeped at me telling me get ready for Boston. What's in Boston? There's this stuff in Boston. We're going to go learn how to be experts. We're going to have 25 people learning how to be experts in trading the futures, and they're going to get cool tools like this one to nail every entry. So let's just jump into it right now. All right, so I'm going to keep it simple. We're going to keep it in a story style, and we're going to hit the majors. I think it's pretty important to figure out where we are before we decide what to do and at what levels. And I'm going to piggyback off of the levels you've been hearing from Cypher in the last couple of days. I think we're on the same page. We have different stories from different indices. We're going to start with the futures for the S&P. So this is the big daddy. And you can tell, first of all, we got to determine who's controlling the action. And in this case, you see lower lows and lower highs. So the sellers are in charge. And this is an hourly chart dating back quite a few days. So there's no denying. So the bulls have a lot of work to do. Now, we're looking at the last 3 days. We had a bad day a few days ago. And then we spent a couple of days stabilizing and making some progress. So as a result, I have numbers for you. So the control is bearish. The range is pretty tight and getting tighter. We stopped making lower lows. We continue making lower highs. So the price action is coming into a squeeze into 4,300. So 4,305, that's a number that we've been mentioning for a while. Cypher hit on it quite a few times. And it's going to be a pretty good catalyst. Look at it right there. If the bulls are able to bust out of it, they might take another leg higher to battle the accident scene from a few days ago. On the 3rd, it was pretty bad, and that's around 43.35, give or take $3. You remember these numbers, we've talked about them. And then we have the floor that we established on that bad day, and a couple, which is 42.35-ish, and a quarter above it. And then we have had two bounces around 42.60, 42.58, also been noted by Cypher. So we have a tight range and a tighter range. It looks like mathematically the bulls have a trigger up closer within 0.5%. Like if tomorrow, after the jobs report, somebody breathes a sigh of relief, we might pop, and it's only 0.5 point away. Whereas the bears need about a 2% drop to trigger a lower low and take us to the next level lower. So we do have a pretty good fight tomorrow to watch. 43.05 on the ES, and the lows that we just placed today and yesterday, and the low, which is around 42.60, and let's do 55, give it a little leeway, and then the low from 42.35. Nice round numbers, okay? And then we have to tackle with the problem that happened on the 3rd, which is around 43.35. Now, after that, it depends on the momentum. What you want to look for is a rounding bottom. Now, Cypher has said he's looking for a tradable bounce, and he mentioned how he's selling the rally because he thought we were going to draw this leg, and we did draw it. The levels were a little off, but he was spot on. So the story has not changed. We just played out how we have been we have been saying it. All right. So here's another story. Now, this is one story. This is the story that you probably will hear in the media. The other story is the NQ. The NQ is the futures for the Nasdaq. Now, this story is consolidation. The control is being fought over. It's not lower lows and lower highs on the same time frame. It looks like it's going sideways, up and down around an axis. So this is consolidation. And quite frankly, if you look at the QQQ, you will see they haven't even triggered a bear trigger like a pattern like the S&P has. So this is a different story. It's a tight range, 500 points. Yes, it's tight in these terms. Somebody is telling me now that there's a story about Apple, Tim Cook selling $6 billion worth of stock. I don't see a move in the stock, but my chart might be broken. I'm going to hate him if he ruins my calls that are up 43%. We'll see what happens tomorrow with that. So 14, it's a 500-point range from the 1565. That's a range that also Cypher has mentioned before. And of course, the double bottom that has happened around 14,590, 14,585. All right. So let me make this chart bigger for you. Boom. How about that? How about we make it even bigger? Nope, that's it right there. So the ranges, I've been saying the values, and I'll go back and show them to you for reference. So 14,960 are the last couple of fails, and just above those is 1550, which I know for a fact Cypher mentioned if you watch his videos. Go back and watch him actually. Before I forget, why don't we go ahead, and if you haven't done so, go and subscribe to the channel. It's free so far. And also set the alert thingy so that the bell will tell you we're going live or reposting a new video. If you haven't done that, do that. And also, if you like what you see and you want to support us, give us a like and discuss in the comment. If you disagree or if you have another idea, please share it, educate us, and let's come up with ideas there. Everybody has a story. Let's debate them. Now we have a 14,720. That's our bounce from the last few hours. Let's see if it holds. So the immediate bounce level is 14,718 if you want to be accurate. You don't want to lose that. If you lose 14,718, you are at risk of losing the double bottom. And if we lose that, that consolidation goes to the bears, and we will end up about probably 400 points lower, 380 to 420. So that would put us well close to 14,000. You don't want that, because that would say that the Nasdaq now joined the S&P into the breakdown, and now we have a measured move lower. That's not the story we want. So tradable level up 14,960. Mini tradable level that could end up bad 14,713-ish. Okay, we have a level from end of September at around 15,075, and also end of September of 15,950, 14,590, sorry. So basically we are fighting over the range that we established in late of September. Hi, Lori. I don't see everybody, sorry. Hey, Joyful, I see you there, fam. Okay, so this is basically what we're doing, fighting over the end of September levels. And we're going to ping pong inside those levels until we bounce out of one side or the other. If we take out the highs, we could have an extended rally. Whether it's shortable or not, that's a different story. We can go another 2%. But what you want to do is break the momentum that the sellers have maintained over the S&P, because this will influence the S&P. Now, here's the third story. I told you it's a story day. The Russell. What is going on here? This thing cannot buy a bid. It's crazy. Look, plateau, drop, plateau, drop, plateau. Okay, for this one, 1 hour chart ain't gonna cut it. Nope, we gotta go. Okay, and I'm gonna scare you a little bit here. Here's the good news. In a couple of bad days, this thing didn't do so bad, and this thing that is falling off a cliff. So maybe this one is trying to bottom. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a hard line in the sand. The RTY, which is the futures contract on the RUT, the small caps Russell, 1704. We have 2, 3, 4 bounces. We have backup bounces below that, around 1650. And I believe we have backup to the backup as well. But here's the bad news. If we lose all of these support levels, it's going to get ugly. We're going to go into the pandemic lows, because we've dropped basically 400 points or so. We've consolidated for months. And if we lose the consolidation, we're going to drop another 400 points. So we will have another 15, 20% drop. That's not what we want. I'm going to be optimistic, and I'm going to say this bunch, yes, this bunch has most likely bottomed or trying to bottom. I went long for the group by selling on a bad day, selling a put spread with basically betting against the drop, and it played out in a couple of days. So I like that. All right. So what the plan is here, watch to see if we stopped making lower lows. And it's going to be difficult, because this guy is not finding any love. If I were to be optimistic on levels, I see a recent bottom at 1721 and at 1729 and a mini catalyst maybe around 1751. But then you have a problem here and a problem there. So it's going to take a lot. It's going to either take a lot or just one jarring movement up. All right, so we're halfway through the session. Just to put you, reset your expectations as to how much we're going to cover. There were a few things I wanted to talk about that Cypher has been mentioning. All right, so he talked about crude oil quite a few times. Okay, so if we go here and gold, hopefully I lined them up. Yes. So this is crude oil on a daily chart, because I like to give you the big picture first, and then we can zoom in on actionable items. So we went from a bottom at 63.75 to a top. That was a violent rally, by the way, and it went unnoticed, except we did because he was talking about it. 95. So that's a big range. The halfway mark is at just below 80. And this here is the first Fibonacci level and of the golden zone, the 38.2, and the 61.8 is below it. So basically these three lines is, one would say, we went from point A to point B, and we gave about half back. That's normal. So this is where the bulls need to crank it up. My guess is that they will bounce somewhere in this area around 81 and a half. And I think they will find sellers. And for that information, you need to drill down a little bit. Hello. So here is, but believe it or not, this orange line, I'm going to tell you how I found it. Keep it in mind. Look how pivotal it's been. Okay, this is December of 2022. And if you go back, that is August of 2022. It's been pivotal for a long time. And I'm going to tell you how I found it. It's pretty crazy. Now, this M-looking formation will tend to retrace backwards. I would venture to guess they're going to going to try to jump back up to 1880. Did I just jump from CL to gold? This chart was CL. I'm sorry. Okay, let's finish the CL story. I'll get to gold in a minute. I'm so excited. And let's go to 30 minutes to see if we can find levels we can trade. The immediate levels here are, unfortunately, the floor is very ginger. It's like made of glass. So you cannot lose 82. And if you do, you're going to drop to the 80, maybe 79. And you have a wall at 85. Okay, it's a catalyst, but I think it's difficult. I wouldn't do anything with oil here. I think it's trying to price out the drop from here, and it's trying to find support into 80, plus or minus a buck or two. Now gold, I'm very excited about gold. Falling knife, falling machete, check it out. What is going on? This is what's going on that's gotten me excited a little bit. This candle right there, if I go to 15 minutes, maybe it'll show up. This jaunt right here is that orange line that spans years. So they're definitely trying to put in a bottom here or trying to put in a fight. So let's watch what they do with 1850. Let's see if they can overcome 1850. It seems pivotal for the long time. Hi, Rafael. Okay, so 1825, 1826, you lose that. Pew, straight down, continue the travel. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, don't have this much caffeine late at night. Let's see here. 1775, 1780. Let's call it 1800, 1790. It's the Fibonacci, what is that? 61.8. So the end of the golden zone of this long extension. You know, if you're brave, I tell you what could happen. They could bounce against this cluster of support. They're going to find sellers into 1875 to 1900. I almost can guarantee that. And if it curls back down, so that's where you go short for a trade. And I would put a stop, because if I'm wrong, they might go up to 1955, and I would repeat the short up there. The goal is to get it to curl back down and ride it down, and maybe you get lucky to trigger a head and shoulders for it to go to 1700. All right, so this is it as far as excitement's concerned, and I want to thank everybody for coming here. You spend all day with us in the live room, and here you are, some of you in here, I see you. Thank you so much for the support. Totally appreciate you. We're going to have to bolt out of here rudely as we do. What do we say? 4, 3, 2, 1. Goodbye.